What is the physician's job? It is the physician's job to bring the body into a state of health. And if you don't have a working definition of what health means, then you can't very effectively get that job done, can you? If you'd like to have some fun, call up, just go to the Yellow Pages, go do an online search for MDs in your area, and randomly call an MD's office and say that you're a new patient. You just moved to this town. You're looking for doctors in your health insurance, providers network, and you need to have your doctor answer a couple of questions before you decide whether you want to get on board with them. Okay. Question number one: does this doctor regularly refer to chiropractors, acupuncturists, herbalists, or naturopathic physicians? Just see if they do. Now, in some states, naturopathic medicine is not licensed, so the answer should be no in those states. But in other states, every state, chiropractic medicine is licensed. So if your MD doesn't regularly refer patients to chiropractors, then that will give you some sense of the amount of closed-mindedness that they have. Now, I'm talking about general family practitioners, right? Second question, could you please email me this doctor's definition of health? Or could you please put the doctor on the line? I just want to know how he defines health. I'd like to know what his working definition of health is. Thank you very much. And watch what happens. Even better, tell the people that you're calling that you're recording this information for your, for your archives, and because your memory's bad and you want to have a recording of this. And as long as they know beforehand that you're recording it, it's all legal schmiegel and everybody's happy. And then I want you to post the responses on Facebook. I do. That's what I would like you to do, because, it's all in the... So this is one way that you can kind of take a look behind the curtains of what's going on here. And I would be very surprised, quite frankly, I'd bet solid money on it, that the person that you called up would not be able to give you a sophisticated, elegant, easy, breezy, lemon squeezy definition of health. And if your medical practitioner cannot define health, then they do not know what it is. And if they do not know what it is, how can they possibly help you to achieve it? They can't. And this is the biggest delusion that people are under all around the world, that their MDs are trained in healthcare. They're not. Your MD, bless their hearts, are trained in disease management. They do not know how to provide health care, because if they were providing health care, our health would be getting better and better and better, but it's getting worse and worse and worse. Autism skyrocketing, Alzheimer's skyrocketing, arthritis skyrocketing, obesity skyrocketing, life expectancy declining, infertility skyrocketing. Everybody is sick all of the time. And the reason that everybody is sick all of the time is because the people that own the show, the people that own the monopoly on medicine in the free world, the MDs, do not know how to define health, nor are they trained in how to help you secure it. And this is the billion-pound gorilla in the middle of the world that nobody's talking about. Well, I'm going to be talking about this, God willing, in the Creek Don't Rise on the Alex Jones Show tomorrow. 1 p.m. Central Time is when I'm scheduled to appear as a guest with Alex. Sometimes he runs late with guests, right? So I suppose sometime between 1 and 1:15 p.m. tomorrow, the 18th day of July, which is a Thursday, that I'll be on Alex Jones, and you want to tune into that program because Alex Jones has a big listenership. Alex Jones has a big footprint, and a lot of people have heard about Alex Jones. Hardly anybody's heard about Dr. Glidden, but that's all going to change after tomorrow. So get your people to listen to the Alex Jones Show tomorrow, 1 o'clock Central Time. listen to my interview with him. You can also watch the live stream, because Alex, like myself, always video casts his radio shows. So this is an important thing to understand, folks. Nobody understands it, nobody gets it, and that's why everybody is sick, and that's why everybody is beneath the wheel of physical ailments, because the medical professionals that we lean on to help us get healthy don't know how to do it. The medical professionals that we lean on to help us get healthy do not know how to help us get healthy. They know how to stitch a wound closed. They know how to surgically remove a diseased kidney without killing you. They know how to kill the bacteria that causes pneumonia and gonorrhea and syphilis. They know how to do that, but they have no earthly idea of what causes chronic diseases. They have no earthly idea what causes heartburn, migraine headaches, asthma, insomnia, arthritis, fibromyalgia, anxiety and panic attacks, post-traumatic syndrome. They have no idea what causes these things whatsoever. Nor is the pharmaceutical industry interested in understanding the causative nature of disease. Because if they understood the causative nature of disease, then they would eliminate the disease and they would be out of a job. Do you get it? Do you get it? Your medical doctor doesn't even know how to cure heartburn. You know, I believe antacids and proton pump inhibitors are either the number 1 or the number 2 largest selling drug in the world. Largest selling drugs in the world. Why is that? Because if they were to come up with a formulary that cured heartburn, then it wouldn't be the largest selling drug in the world. Because if you're managing something, you need to take the drug for the rest of your life, and that's good for them, it's bad for you, and it's not just heartburn, it's everything. But nobody has lined it up for the general public like this. Nobody has. I'm doing it. Dr. Wallach's been doing it. I mean, it's really just common sense. You would not go to a chiropractor to have an infected kidney surgically removed from your body, right? You would not do that. They're doctors. They're licensed and regulated doctors, but that's not their thing. Well, neither should you bring your body to an MD. If you're suffering with a chronic disease, you shouldn't do it, because the treatment of chronic disease is not their thing. They suck at it. They're bad at it. They're horrible at it. While we've let them treat chronic disease skyrockets. It's everywhere all of the freaking time. And because it's everywhere all of the freaking time, we have been deluded into thinking it's our fault. There must be some mysterious, genetic, complicated, sophisticated metabolic process that one day the researchers from Harvard University will get on the other side of. BS. The only reason that chronic disease is so out of control is because we've taken the wrong dog to the hunt. It's kind of like the MDs are a football team that only has a running game. That's all they've got. They've just got a running game. They've never heard of the pass. They don't know how to pass. They've got a quarterback who can't throw the ball and nobody on the team that can catch a pass. They don't have any running patterns. They don't have any passing patterns. All they do is run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. Well, if a football team just ran the ball, where do you think they'd end up at the end of the year in the NFL? Dead last. That's why your MD's therapeutics in the United States are the leading cause of death and the leading cause of bankruptcy, because they're a one-trick pony. And because they monopolize the medical theater, and because everybody is sick, and because we've been culturally conditioned to believe that they're the gods of medicine and can do no wrong, we just think it's got to be our fault. Can't be the doctor's fault. Can't be the doctor's methodology. It has to be something else, right? It's a sophisticated, complicated process. No, it's not. You've drunk the Kool-Aid. You're in the Matrix. You're down the rabbit hole. Pick your metaphor. You're wrong. You are suffering from the cultural delusion, the cognitive dissonance, which leads you to believe that the MD is the undisputed owner of the field of medicine and everybody else is a back-of-the-bus quack with substandard training. It's completely 100% incorrect. Your medical doctor is the last person to go to if you're suffering with a chronic disease. They are the last person you want to go to because they have nothing for you except man-made synthetic drugs sold to you at an enormous price, the intention of which is not to cure the problem but to suppress the symptom and manage the illness. And, you know, when you suppress symptoms and manage the illness, what happens? I told you about that last week. Another symptom develops because the body is a complex system of checks and balances, and a symptom is generated by the body only in the presence of a stress that the body has been unable to handle. The body experiences a stress, becomes destabilized, and punches out a symptom. Now the MDs suppress the symptom. The body falls further off balance and shoots out another symptom, and so we go until death do us part from the earthly plane of existence. It's a problem because it's everywhere all the time. And when I mean everywhere all the time, I mean everywhere all the time. Call your brother, call your mother, call your sister, call your preacher, call your next door neighbor, call your high school sweetheart. Call everybody that you've ever known in your life and ask them how their health is. Ask them how they're doing. Every freaking person on the planet is sick. Everybody is sick. And the only reason everybody is sick is because nobody knows how to procure health except us. We are the tip of the spear of science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. And medical nutrition is where you need to be. Medical nutrition is what you need to understand if you are attempting to make your body healthy. Because medical nutrition supports and promotes your body's built-in God-given ability to optimize its structure and function. You can't have healthy bones without calcium, right? Well, where are you going to get your calcium? Where are you going to get the sulfur? Where are you going to get the 90 essential nutrients that your body needs? It's not in the food chain. Because it's not in the food that we eat, we suffer, go bankrupt, and then die. Yeah, I know. You don't want to work. Too bad. God works, we work. That's just the way that it is. But, you know, if you work, if you love your work, it's not really work, right? I mean, it's an old cliche, but it's true. If you love what you do, then it's not really work. It's just, you know, life with zesto. Is that even a word? It is now. And so this is why I encourage everybody who's in the listening audience to consider the Youngevity business opportunity because it's awesome. From a pragmatic, economic, dollars and cents point of view, it's a really great business model. Hardly any startup costs. You completely regulate how long you work every day. You get built-in free support. It's great. And the potential is there. There are over 250 people alive right now who, with Youngevity, have made multiple millions of dollars. Multi-million-dollar earners with Youngevity. How did they do that? By helping their friends and family members, church members, and community members to enjoy a greater state of health. And, you know, that beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. Get with the person who told you about this radio show. Ask them to explain the Youngevity business opportunity to you. And if you came to us of your own volition, give us a call. If you're listening to this on a live radio feed somewhere in Texas or California, then give the radio station a call that you're listening on because they have people who can field your question and give you information about what we're up to. And we're a network. This is a good network, a group of individual business owners all around the world who have hitched their wagon to the Youngevity star and are moving forward, spreading Dr. Wallach's message of health recovery through science-based, clinically verified nutrition to as many people as will listen. Check it out. You know, it's a fool who makes a determination about something up or down before they know anything about it. So, take me, for example. I had some built-in prejudice for 19 years against multi-level marketing. I don't want to do that. I'm a doctor. I didn't even know what it was, but I knew I didn't want to do it. 19 years. Then I finally sat down with Dr. Wallach about 5 years ago, had a heart-to-heart talk. He explained what it was. He explained how it worked. He explained what was required, and he explained what it did. And there was no looking back for me. And I have to tell you, I'm enjoying a greater revenue stream now than I ever have in my life. I'm enjoying a greater revenue stream now than I ever did as a physician with a private practice. And I've been doing that for 22 years. I've been in private practice for 22 years. So I kick myself every now and then because I think to myself, oh man, where would I, knowing how far I've come in 4.5 years, how much further would I be had I aligned myself with Dr. Wallach 19 years ago? I didn't even want to think about that. Well, you know what they say, man plans and God laughs, right? So, and if ifs and buts were candy nuts, we'd all have a wonderful Christmas. If wishes were horses, beggars would ride, right? So, there's no looking back, but there is looking forward. I am encouraging you from the bottom of my heart, with both feet planted firmly on the soil of economic soundness, look at the longevity business opportunity. Give it a long look, and then see whether or not it's something you'd like to get involved with. Look, it's not for everybody, but having a judgment about it before you know anything about it is really kind of a silly thing to do. Been there, done that, and guilty as charged. Don't do what I did. Open your mind. Let somebody, longevity business owner, whoever told you about this radio show, let them explain to you what the business opportunity is, what's required, what you need to do, and then see if that's something you would like to do. And if it is, God love you, because, man, we need the help, right? I mean, honest to God, there was somebody at Starbucks right in front of you in line today. There was somebody at Timmy Hortons, or right in back of you yesterday, somebody at the gas station, somebody at the grocery store, standing right next to you, who went to bed last night praying to God for help because the MDs have let everybody down when it comes to chronic illness. Everybody is sick and suffering. Everybody. So we have a task here. We have a pretty heavy responsibility, and we need your help in carrying the load. You don't even have to know how to spell vitamin to have a successful longevity business. All you have to do is tell the truth and point. That's it. It really is that easy. Get with the person that invited you to this program and have them introduce you to the longevity business opportunity. I'm telling you, there ain't going to be no looking back. Stick around, folks. Terry in Virginia is up next. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You know who that is sneaking around? That's your pharmacist sneaking around. Actually, no, your pharmacist's a good guy. Pharmacists only know what they've been trained in. Actually, pharmacists know more about the drugs than your doctors do. And regretfully, when it comes to chronic disease, the MD profession has devolved into basically MDs are pharmacists who've been trained how to diagnose, and they do that poorly. Because all they do is deliver drugs. I mean, if you took away prednisone and pain meds from MDs, they wouldn't know what the heck to do. Because that's all they do all the time. Oh, anti-inflammatories, pain meds. Anti-inflammatories, pain meds, and the random antibiotic. Often prescribed for all the wrong reasons, which is why antibiotic-resistant bacteria are on the rise. It's not your fault. That's the MD's fault. Because of the willy-nilly, indiscriminate bad use of prescription medications, right? So remember, it's not the drug, it's how it's used. It's not the gun, it's how it's used. It's not the drug, it's how it's used. The gun is an inanimate object. The gun doesn't do anything, it's how it's used. Well, drugs, how they're used. The way that MDs use drugs? You kidding me? They're the leading cause of death in the United States. So yeah, let's go to those guys for health care. I don't think so. The medical system does not need to be upregulated, downregulated, managed, massaged, or tweaked. It needs to be abandoned because for chronic disease, it completely does not work, period. Let's go to Terry in Virginia and see what's cracking. Hey, Terry, thanks for the call. You are live.
Dr. Glidden.
Terry.
Hey, how you doing? Thank you for the Pink Panther music, and I really like the way you word things. You're a cool guy.
Yes, I am, Terry, and we're getting cooler every day, thanks to the efforts of people just like you. What's the latest on your condition?
Yeah, I forgot to tell you about some symptoms I hadn't really been paying attention to since 2012 when my mother started getting real sick. But I was being treated for some low thyroid symptoms back around, started in 2009, and I was being treated off and on by a frugal naturopath, that me and my mother frequented. We had to drive 100 miles to see out of the way, but anyway, she said that I had low thyroid, and I was listening to Dr. Tenpenny's lecture yesterday about iodine and selenium and low thyroid problems.
Yeah.
And I noticed that I've been having a bunch of the symptoms, such as hair loss, cold feet and hands, fatigue around 2 and 3 p.m., dry feet, cracked fingertips, dry mouth, brain fog, forgetfulness, slow metabolism.
Yeah, so all of these things are so you're a candidate for, thyroid support for sure. So you want to become an insider, and you want to watch the webinar that I did on thyroid, because I did a 50-minute webinar that walks people right through what to do in order to give the thyroid a leg up. Now remember, we don't treat disease, we don't make any claims here, but it's common sense that the human body needs to have the proper nutrition. Your thyroid needs to have the proper nutrition. Your heart, your lungs, everything needs to have the proper nutrition. And it would be prudent for you to stop eating food that's coming up the works. It would be prudent for everybody to do that. And this is our recommendation across the board. So there's an essential oil called myrrh, M-Y-R-R-H, myrrh oil. Like frankincense and myrrh, right, from the New Testament. Myrrh oil, topically, on the thyroid area is beneficial for the thyroid. Iodized salt is mandatory. Selenium supplementation is mandatory. And also you need to visit a chiropractor and have them do an x-ray of your neck and make sure that the curve in your neck is correct. If the curve in your neck is not correct, your thyroid is not going to be correct no matter how much nutrition is in it. Went into more detail about that on my webinar, but I would check that out if I were you. So add some myrrh oil.
What about this thing Alex Jones is talking about and pharmacist Ben? Was it nature's iodine or something like that?
Yeah, that's a good thing to do. But remember, iodine is one of the 90 essential nutrients. You don't just need iodine.
It. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're already getting it. It's not a bad idea if you have a thyroid condition to take, or you think you have a thyroid condition, to take extra iodine. I mean, that's how we eliminated goiter. That's one of the good things the Food and Drug Administration did years ago. They noticed that in a particular part of the United States, there was an area called the goiter belt where there were hundreds of thousands of cases of enlarged thyroid. And it was pretty serious. And they figured out it was due to an iodine deficiency. So rather than doing 100,000 thyroid surgeries a year, they decided just to put iodine in the salt, and that's how iodized salt came into being. And when they just added iodine to the salt, the goiter went away. It went away. It went away. So, there's direct evidence that iodine is necessary for optimal thyroid function. So it's never a bad idea, if you think or you have a funky thyroid, to take extra iodine than what is in the 90 essential nutrients. So, but my recommendation is just iodized salt. But, what the heck? Give the nascent iodine a run for a month or two and see if it makes you feel better, because there's nothing like the taste of the pudding, and the proof is in the eating, right?
Now, would that have anything to do with the lumps in my breast?
Could.
Iodine problem.
Yes, it could. It's entirely possible that those two things are interrelated, but I'm telling you, you need to get that diagnosed so we're not guessing. Because if this is a big bad voodoo daddy, the sooner you know about it, the better your chances of survival are.
What about a thermography?
No, thermography isn't going
Mammogram.
to. Yeah, nope, it's not going to tell you whether it's a cancerous lesion or just a benign, fibrocystic nodule.
What about the Navarro urine test?
No, that's interesting. I'm not that familiar with it. I only have a tangential experience with that, so I can't speak to that. I don't know. If it were me.
I can't find a lady doctor who is into what you recommended off of that site. There's none around except for one, and she's like 100 miles away. And then this other doctor.
Well, then you got
to not take my insurance.
Yeah, so you got to fall back to Plan B. Then you just have to find somebody local who can do a biopsy, so you know. And I'm telling you, the sooner you know, the better, because you need to know what the hell it is.
Biopsy. I'm just scared of them.
Well, you should be more frightened of dying from breast cancer than you are of the biopsy. Let me tell you, you need to know what.
I'm scared of both.
Well, I would be too, but we have to kind of pick our battles here. I'm telling you, get the biopsy. That's my advice, because you need to know what you're dealing with, and that's the only way you can know.
I won't have the money till the 3rd. Is that soon enough?
Well, do that urine test in the meantime and see what happens. I mean, I don't have any experience with that, but, knowledge is power, and whatever you can do to dial this in as soon as possible is a good idea.
Yeah, well, it will be back by the 3rd,
Well, check it out.
And get the money.
Check it out. Let me know what you find. I appreciate your phone call, Terry. Have to move on from Virginia to Toronto. Oh, David called back about hyperbaric chambers. Hey, David, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hey, the other day you asked me to call you back about the hyperbolic chamber, but I wanted to ask another couple of questions.
Shoot. Yeah, go ahead.
I've got the... what is the more economical? I'm doing the healthy blood sugar pack.
Yeah.
I've called you before and told you it reduced my blood sugar, my A1C, from 10.1 in January to 6.1 at the end of April.
Now, just right there, David, that proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that type 2 diabetes is not genetic.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you can manipulate your blood sugar levels with a nutritional intervention or any type of intervention, then the disease is not genetic, right?
Matter of fact, I've just been in the hospital for 2 weeks, and they took me off of the sugar list, as a matter of fact. Anyway.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really great news, man. Okay, go ahead. Continue. Didn't mean to interrupt.
I wanted to know, is there a more economical way to do the healthy blood sugar pack? And I've been doing the Ultimate Daily and the Selenium. Now, you suggested I go to 12 Ultimate Dailies to help the circulation in my legs and feet and so on. Now, is there a more economical way to get the 90 essentials and to...
Yes, there is. It's called the Ultimate Classic Pack. The Ultimate Classic Pack. So the recommendation for you would be one Ultimate Classic Pack. How much do you weigh?
Well, I'm just under 200. So.
All right, so you would do two Ultimate Classic Packs, 2 bottles of Sweeties, and 2 bottles of Ultimate Daily Capsules a month.
And by the way, I know you told me before, but I do like that liquid OsteoFX better than the powdered stuff.
I know, right? I know. I don't like to say it out loud too much because Longevity gets mad, but I don't care. I like it better too.
Well, it's better tasting, better texture, easier.
Yeah, and I think what we're finding from without even asking, just people are calling in and telling us that they have a better experience with the liquid than they do with the powder. Now, that's not everybody. There are some people that absolutely love the powder and they have a good experience from it. But I've never known anybody to have a bad experience from the liquid as far as, clinical results go. I'm with you 100%.
Yeah, right now I'm doing two heaping containers in the morning of the powder, and then at night I do 2 liquid capsules.
Yeah. So if you switch it up from the Healthy Start pack to the Ultimate Classic pack, then that would be a much more economical way. You may need to add one bottle of liquid calcium to that program. So it would be 2 Ultimate Classic packs, one Beyond Osteo FX liquid calcium, and 2 Sweeties and 2 Ultimate Daily capsules. Now, because of your leg condition with lack of circulation to your legs, right?
Yeah.
A hyperbaric chamber for you would be a good thing to do, especially with the medical nutrition that you have. Now, the hyperbaric chamber, for those in the listening audience, it's the same thing that they put divers in who have the bends, right? It's a little chamber that you get inside of, and they pump it filled with oxygen, and they increase the pressure of oxygen inside, so it's forcing oxygen through the skin into your circulation. And for people with circulation issues like you, this is a really good adjunctive therapy to do for a couple of months to give your body a leg up, pun intended, on circulation from the outside, while you're helping to support healthy circulation from the inside, which is always a process, never an event. So that'd be a good thing for you to check out, David. Give it a run for its money, and let me know what your experience is. I appreciate your support. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Where does the time go? We're winding down the first hour already. I know. What's up with that? Let's go to California and talk to Gary. Hey, Gary, thanks for the call back. You are live.
Thanks, Dr. Glidden. Diane and I talked yesterday about her brain situation with her daughter, and she had a couple of situations that she thought she should have mentioned to you. So, Diane, go ahead.
Hi, I was calling back again because I had told you that she had preeclampsia, high blood pressure, and all that stuff, but she has no signs of that anymore. She's not on any type of medication. The only thing she's taking right now is the heparin shots because she's immobile. So I had heard something about a product you guys have about putting oxygen back into the body. Is that something she could use?
Well,
she has the anoxic brain injury.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Anoxic brain injuries are caused by circulation issues. They're caused by circulation issues. Circulation issues are caused by nutrient deficiencies. So putting more oxygen into her body is kind of like painting over the mold on the wall. You're not going to smell the mold anymore. You're not going to see the mold anymore. And for a while, things are going to get better, but it doesn't get to the root cause of the problem. So it would not be the first thing that I would think about. And the fact that historically she had eclampsia, because you can't get eclampsia unless you're pregnant. You can't get that. I mean, that condition is only present in, women who are with child. But it uncovers the eclamptic condition during pregnancy, uncovers a greater nutrient deficiency, which until that time had remained hidden, which is not enough calcium. So if she had not enough calcium during pregnancy, she still has not enough calcium. It's just harder to see, right? So in any event, the recommendation stands that I gave yesterday. You can give her the Oxy body drops if you want to. There's no harm and no foul there. But I would follow my advice, to the letter yesterday, and I think that's going to be sufficient to the cause. We've seen a number of people, come out of a coma on medical nutrition. And it can't be placebo, right? I mean, it can't be placebo. They're in a coma. So I think you're gonna have a very positive experience of her health once her body gets all of the raw materials it needs to optimize its structure and function. So keep your fingers crossed and call us back, why don't you, with a report? I certainly would look forward to that.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome. Thanks, Gary. Yeah, you call me anytime, Gary. I appreciate what you're doing. New Mexico's up next. Kathy has a question, I think, about sarcoidosis. Hey, Kathy, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. G. It was good to see you in Anaheim.
Yeah, I know, right? How are you?
Yeah, that was great. I'm doing well. I've got a friend, though, that's very ill. I'm going to be seeing her this weekend, try to get her on the product. Best guess from the doctors, sarcoidosis, fibromyalgia, and was just in the hospital for 10 days with cellulitis and on an antibiotic IV and 15 different drugs, which I can't even remember them all.
I mean, so don't you just love that? Yeah. You pay medical insurance premiums your entire life. Mm-hmm. So hoping against hope you don't get sick. But, you know, it's your insurance policy, literally, for when you do get sick. And so you finally get sick, and you go to the people that you've been paying your whole life to gain access to, and they have no idea what it is. Isn't that just great?
Yeah, so I want to help her because they're killing her right now.
Well, you know, but it reveals a greater tragedy here, which is the incompetence of conventional medicine before the fact. I mean, they're incompetent. They don't know what causes it. They can't make a definitive diagnosis. She has strong and persistent symptoms that warrant hospitalization, and they have no idea what the hell's going on. I mean, you would not stand for that type of behavior in any other profession. We would not, but we give the MDs a pass. Oh, you know, whatever. I don't get why we do that. So the recommendation here is the Anti-Aging Healthy Start Pack Original Formula, 1 Anti-Aging Healthy Start Pack, 2 Selenium, and 2 Liquid Glucogel Plus, and 1 Immortalium. 1 Anti-Aging Healthy Start Pack, 2 Selenium, 2 Liquid Glucogel Plus, and 1 Immortalium per 100 pounds of body weight per month. Eliminate the 10 bad foods and have an eye towards 100,000 antioxidant ORAC points a day go down the hatch. 100,000 ORAC points a day down the hatch. Have her take that out for a ride. She's going to love how she feels. Hour 2 coming up, folks. Stick around. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Dr. Peter Glidden here. Your steadfast advocate for health. FYI, I am a licensed naturopathic physician. I completed my Bachelor of Science in Pre-Med at the University of Massachusetts in 1987. Secured my naturopathic doctoral degree in 1991 from Bastyr University in Seattle. I became licensed to practice naturopathic medicine in 1992. Which means I have 25 years of clinical experience, because in naturopathic medical school, you start working with patients in your sophomore year. That would be September of 1988. So since September of 1988, I've been working with patients. I've been licensed to practice medicine and have been holding down the fort with front trenches, private practice in naturopathic medicine since 1992. So I know of which I speak. I have a lot of clinical experience here. I've been around the track with medical nutrition, with homeopathy, with acupuncture, with all things holistic. And I'm a good person to talk to get an understanding and a good perspective on what's up with your health. Because from the proper perspective, everything makes sense, but the MDs do not bring the proper perspective to bear. They just don't. And, you know, I've used this example before, but I'll use it again because it's important to understand this. And people don't understand this basic concept, okay? You know, so one of the reasons for the cognitive dissonance here, one of the reasons that people continue to put the MDs up on a pedestal, even though they fail us over and over and over again, in the province of Alberta in Canada, they spend between 45 and 50 million bucks a day to prop up the medical system. Well, why on earth is that? Because what's the most expensive type of medicine? The one that doesn't work, right? Right. But because it's a one-trick pony all around the world and the MDs rule the roost, that's all that the governments know. And, of course, the pharmaceutical companies are in cahoots with the government, and so everybody's in bed together, and they're not going to go away. But it's a problem. And, you know, the reason that they maintain the top dog status, even though they fail and are expensive as all get out, is because in the back of our minds we think that they actually practice science, that they're actually scientific. Well, here's what we don't understand about science. Now, the MDs are scientific. So am I. My profession exists to marry the scientific method with alternatives to drugs and surgery for treatment, for medical treatment, right? So science is as science does, and science is a wonderful thing, but science is a harsh mistress. And unless you get it right, you're going to be in the dark. If you miss one datum point, you're in the dark. So let's say you didn't know anything about gravity, and you had no clue about gravity. You had no understanding whatsoever about gravitational attraction, and that the greater the mass something has, the more gravitational pull it has. You had no understanding of that at all. So those data points relative to gravity were absent from your mind. Okay? But you have a hankering to understand meteorology and astronomy. So every day you go outside, and at noon you measure the angle of the sun in the sky. And then, every hour, starting after sunrise, you measure the angle of the sun in the sky. You have one of those sextants that the old-time mariners used to use, and you dial it right in, and you write down all your calculations and all of your data. And over the course of 365 days, you gather monstrous amounts of data which show you where the sun is at any time in the sky. And so you collect all of that data, you process all of that data, and you can reasonably predict where the sun is going to be, at your latitude at any moment in time, and you'd be correct. But because you were missing the data points of gravity, you would then make the inaccurate assumption that the sun goes around the earth. I mean, I've got all the data to prove it. Look, I can tell you exactly where it's going to be. And look, stupid, it's the sun that's moving. It's not the earth. What are you, stupid? I mean, any idiot can see it's the sun that's moving, right? But because you didn't know how big the sun was, how much mass the sun had, and because you didn't know how big the earth was, and because you had no earthly idea, pun intended, of what gravity was, your understanding and assumption that the earth moves around the sun is incorrect, even though you have all of this data to support it. Get it? Well, that's how the MDs are with health. They have collected all of these data points, right, about, this blood level is associated with Hashimoto's thyroiditis, and this X-ray is associated with osteoarthritis, and this ultrasound of the heart, these findings are associated with cardiomyopathy, heart disease, and so forth and so on. And they've got all of this mountains and reams of data, right? They have all these complicated names for diseases. Lots of data. But they've lost, or they're missing, a very important datum point. The very important datum point is that the human body knows how to fix itself. The human body wants to fix itself. The human body is a complex system of interrelated parts which is inhabited by a spiritual essence which brings intelligence to play. Our bodies are smart. Our bodies are imbued with divine spiritual intelligence. And this is not a religious conversation. This is a spiritual conversation. Whatever it is that brings light to your eyes, whatever it is that leaves the body at the moment of death, whatever it is, consciousness itself, right? There's a spiritual essence here that is immeasurable to modern science. And because nobody's dissected the soul out of the human body, to the MD, it does not exist. Because according to reductionistic philosophy, which the MDs are trained in, if you can't measure it, it doesn't exist. So, to the MD, there's no spiritual force, there's no soul force, there's no intelligence, and consciousness is a function of biochemistry. And that when the body dies, it's lights out, everything's over, it's just nothingness. That your consciousness is a function of biochemistry, right? Every holistic physician in the world argues the alternate, that biochemistry is a function of consciousness. that consciousness comes first and the human body comes second, right? So, but in any event, because the MDs have thrown the baby out with the bathwater, because they have no ideation, no understanding, and no appreciation for the relationship of the body's intelligence to the maintenance and the operation of the physical body, their conclusions about the genesis of the disease process are completely wrong. And this is why they move the goalposts all the time, right? You know, first they'll tell you that it's bad humors that cause disease, and then they're proven wrong. That's how George Washington was killed. They bled him to death. Because back in the day, the MDs thought that the only reason that people got sick was because of evil, bad humors in the body, and you could get those out of the body by bleeding the person. And that's why one of the major medical journals in the world is called The Lancet, because that was the MD's main tool. They just bled people. Oh, isn't that great? Well, no, as a matter of fact, it wasn't. So then Louis Pasteur comes along and, it's all about germs, and that's the cause of disease, right? And then Watson and Crick come along, and they discover the structure of DNA, and then, it's all about genes, and genes are the root cause of all disease, and then that falls by the wayside. And now it's all about epigenetics, and, first it's these blood pressure numbers that are healthy, and now it's these blood pressure numbers that are healthy, and now it's these blood sugar numbers that are healthy, and now it's this cholesterol number that's healthy, and they move the ball all of the time, because their philosophy is based on the shifting sands of shoddy science. The sifting sands of shoddy science. They have thrown the baby out with the bathwater by disregarding your body's built-in innate intelligence, and furthermore, by virtue of their education, the MD has no training, no experience, no respect, and quite frankly, no appreciation for the relationship between nutrition and disease. They don't know a damn thing about it. So, we've proven it 4 times in the past, 3 times in the past. The disease rickets is caused by a vitamin D-like David deficiency. Spina bifida is a folic acid deficiency. Scurvy is a vitamin C deficiency. And, of course, iron deficient anemia is an iron deficiency illness, right? So we know, and goiter are iodine deficiencies. So we know from a historical perspective that there is an intimate relationship between nutrient deficiencies and the genesis of the disease process. You would think that the MDs would want to focus on that and run with that ball, but they do not. They have no earthly idea at all of the relationship between nutrition and the genesis of disease. And lack of nutrition is the root cause of all chronic diseases. Lack of nutrition is the root cause of all chronic diseases. Linus Pauling said it best. 2-time Nobel Prize winner. You can trace every chronic disease back to a mineral deficiency. Period. So let's say that I'm correct and that heartburn is caused by a calcium deficiency and a deficiency in salt. If you have heartburn, you don't have a bad gene, you have a bad doctor, and you don't have enough calcium in your body and you don't have enough salt. If that's correct, then when you give your body salt and calcium, you should expect the heartburn symptoms to disappear and go away, which is exactly what happens all of the time. But because the MD is not aware of this relationship, the MD gives antacids and proton pump inhibitors, and do those fix the nutrient deficiencies? No. They just manage the symptoms. You could give antibiotics and surgery and antibiotics and surgery and antibiotics and surgery to someone with scurvy, but they're going to die. You give them vitamin C, it goes away. And this is what we know and nobody else knows, and this is why everybody is sick. For goodness sake, if everybody recovered from type 2 diabetes in the United States, we'd balance the federal budget in one flippin' year. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health, taking it to the streets through the internet. Check out the live video stream, why don't you? The DrGlidden show, the Dr. Glidden Show.tv. Kathy from
Mississippi?
MISSISSIPPI?
Yes, sir. I just want to tell you, it's such a joy and a delight and a great, great blessing, Dr. Glidden. I just thank you so much for what you do.
Kathy, it's very kind of you. I appreciate the positive strokes always. I'm so glad you called. How can I help?
My most precious dear friend, who is 63 years old, is having much trouble breathing. And when she lays down, she says it feels like water is filling her back and lungs, and it makes it more difficult even to breathe. She also has high blood pressure and extreme difficulty sleeping, and is constantly fatigued, exhausted, and catches flu-like and virus symptoms often. She also has difficulty walking due to a serious knee injury and surgery the doctor blotched, and her feet hurt her constantly, making it almost impossible at times to walk. Her thyroid activity is basically nil, the doctor said. Her heart and chest hurt. She suffers memory loss and confusion at times, being unable to understand where she is at the moment and how to go where she was going. Also, her throat has no visible lumps or bumps, but when she swallows, she can always feel the invisible lumps, bumps. Her throat hurts and feels uncomfortable. After drinking Longevity 90 for Life liquid minerals, her throat feels better within about 30 minutes. She has had headaches all her life, even migraines, until relief lately on Beyond Tangerine Peach Fusion and OsteoFX and Glucogel. Praise God and Longevity Forever for such products for relief. What other products does she need, please, sir? She weighs about 235 pounds and is 5 feet 3 inches. Thank you so much for advising us.
All right, Kathy. All right. All right. So, look, we need to not overlook the obvious here, right? I mean, this woman's been under the care of conventional medical doctors her entire life. She's been paying medical insurance premiums her entire life.
Yes.
Social Security stuff, Medicare. I mean, and she's the poster child for a complete and utter failure of the medical system, because while she's been under the care of the MDs, her health has gone to hell in a handbasket. It has. And it's not her fault. It's her medical doctor's fault, because somebody's got to be at fault. And whose fault is it? Well, it's the people that are in charge of her health care. For goodness sakes. I don't know why we just can't all rally around this flag and just call a spade a spade. If you are in a state of ill health, it's your doctor's fault. Somebody has to be responsible for that. And it's our medical care practitioners, because they don't practice health care. They practice disease management. And this is what you get when you manage disease. You get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. So, this sounds to me like congestive heart failure. Has she told you that they ruled that out?
No, sir.
All right. So first of all, we need to know what we're up against. And, honestly, I'm not that impressed, quite frankly, with the diagnostic capability of most of the MDs that I've met. But every once in a while, you'll get a smart MD who knows their game and who is a good diagnostician. This sounds to me like a congestive heart failure. It could also be a pneumonia condition. She needs to get that figured out and dialed in. So she needs to get this lung filling up with water sensation figured out post-haste. Because if it is pneumonia, we have to intervene in a certain way, and if it's congestive heart failure, we go another way. But in any event, the stuff that she's done so far is producing results, and so we just need to tighten up the program a little bit and see if we can't get a little more leverage with her health and wellness here. So what my recommendation would be for her overall, nutritional support for her body would be two Healthy Start Pack 2.0 liquids. 2 Healthy Start Pack 2.0 liquids per month. 2 Healthy Start Pack 2.0 in the liquid form per month. 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium per month. 1 bottle of Ultimate Daily Capsules per month. And 5 bottles of Liquid Glucogel Plus per month. 5 bottles of Liquid Glucogel Plus per month. And I'd also like her to see her on the Root Beer Belly. I'd like her to take 2 boxes of Root Beer Belly a month. I'd like her to take 1 box of Root Beer Belly at night before bed and 1 box of Root Beer Belly first thing in the morning. And last but not least, D-Stress. 1 bottle of D like David Stress per month. Of course, eliminate the 10 bad foods, salt or food appropriately, and eat a diet that is extreme. So, just the other day, I showed my IT people my empty coffee mug, and I told them I just finished installing Java. Let's go to Florida and talk to Graciela. That's a pretty name. Hey, Graciela, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. Thank you so much for taking my call.
What's happening?
I've been taking the Health Star Pack plus a bottle of selenium a month for 3 months now. And one thing that I would like to know is for my vision, which is just like blurry when I try to read a book, and is there anything else I could take, or if I just keep taking that, eventually will get better? Hopefully?
Well, Dr. Wallach was able to change his prescription in his eyeglasses because his vision got better while on the medical nutrition. He still needs glasses, but his vision got better. So you never know how far back the vision's going to come, unless. So the reason that people can, see things at a distance and not read up close, or be able to read up close but not see things at a distance or whatever, is because the muscles around your eyes get weak. And it's interesting to talk about. This is a fascinating part of anatomy, but it's kind of it's a ghoulish metaphor, or it's a ghoulish example. But if you dissect somebody's head, after they're dead, and look at the anatomy of the eye, the eyeball is surrounded by these tiny muscles, and they're like small as elastic bands. They're the smallest muscles in your body. And it's the muscles, of course, that make your eyes move, that make you able to look to the side, look up, look down. But there are also muscles that wrap around the eyeball, which squeeze the eyeball and focus it. And so and it's a muscle, just like any other muscle in the body, and muscles can get weak for whatever reason. And so you can also strengthen the muscles, right? That's how bodybuilders get giant muscles. It's because they do specific exercises to strengthen specific muscle groups. Well, in addition to medical nutrition, which is a mandatory thing to do to support eye health, right? There is a series of exercises that people can do, the intention of which is to specifically strengthen the eye muscles. Yeah, pretty interesting. The same way, you do push-ups or sit-ups. Well, there's things you can do to exercise your eye muscles. Pretty cool. Honestly, I don't know why more people don't know about this, but there was a doctor, I think, in the 50s or the 60s. He wrote a book called The Bates Method of Vision Recovery. B-A-T-E-S. B like baby. A-T like Thomas, E-S, the Bates Method of Vision Recovery. Go to Amazon.com, do a search for that book. I think it's out of print. But if you can find yourself a copy, it walks you right through specific eye exercises that you can do, for 5 or 10 minutes every day. And if you do that, I would expect your vision to improve dramatically. I've always wanted to try that, but for some reason, I just have never been able to dial in the discipline to get that done. I've got too many other things to do, or at least that's a mental excuse that I put up. So I'd be very interested to find what somebody's experience was with the diligent application of the Bates method, in addition to longevity. So if I were you, Graciela, that's what I would do. Okay?
Right. I actually heard that this book went out of print because it was really working, and the doctors didn't like that.
Yeah. Well, that's probably there's probably a lot of truth in that. So I'd hunt around. Go to the longevity support groups on Facebook. Go to Amazon.com, use the web to try to dial in a copy. I don't have a copy. Otherwise, I'd lend it to you. But in any event, if you can find a copy of that book, go for it, and let me know what happens.
Right. I just sent down to, I'm from Brazil, I just sent to my brother because he had a detached retina. So I saw one of your videos about that, and I sent that package for him according to his body weight. So I'm curious to see what's going to do to his eyes, because he ended up actually having a surgery because the doctors just terrorized him, say, if you don't do it today, you're never going to see again.
Yeah, I know.
So he did. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
Well, me too. I'm very excited to see what's going to happen. And, I think people in Brazil need a little bit of good news right now, huh?
Yes. Tell me about it. It's a touchy subject right now.
Oh, come on now. What part of Brazil are you from?
I'm from Belo Horizonte, which is Central West.
Yeah. Yeah, I've long time ago, I dated a woman from Brazil, and she spoke very little English, and I tried to learn Portuguese. I couldn't do it though. I find Portuguese a very, very difficult language, and I think anybody that's bilingual, and one of the languages is Portuguese, I have a lot of respect for that, because I'm telling you, man, it is not the easiest language in the world to learn.
No, even for us, I'm telling you.
Well, there you go. All right. Keep us posted as to what transpires here, and I'll look forward to it. Thanks so much for the phone call. New York is up next. Looks like Rosie wants to talk to us. Hey, Rosie, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Good afternoon. I was referred to you from a coach named Cosmo.
Oh, yeah.
I have two situations. I fell on the stairs. They said I have an ACL tear and meniscus tear where the main ligaments were making foot pivot. That is completely severed. And I wanted to know what to do concerning that. And I went through cancer and chemo radiation, and that's gone. Praise the Lord. So I'm on the road for, better managing my health. And I went through diabetes, and I want to manage my health, and for my grandson.
Okay, so do you have diabetes, or does your grandson?
Me, they diagnosed me with diabetes.
Type 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a lot of success with optimizing blood sugar levels in the human body with medical nutrition. There was research published in 1958 that proved there was a direct relationship between a mineral called chromium and funky blood sugar. Like if the body did not have enough of the mineral chromium, then type 2 diabetes would develop. And if you put the chromium back in the body, the type 2 diabetes went away. So we've been, at the tip of the spear of educating people about the relationship between medical nutrition and healthy blood sugar levels. Now, we don't make any claims, but it is my clinical experience that medical nutrition is drop-dead positive, develops drop-dead positive results with blood sugar that you can measure objectively with lab work. So in order to get that job done, how much do you weigh?
I'm 243. How much sodium I need to take?
How tall are you?
5'6".
Yeah, so you're about 100 pounds overweight, right?
But I have big bones. If I'm skinny, I look real. You would not.
All right, so you're 50 pounds overweight. And look, it's not your fault. The reason that people gain weight, it's not because you're lazy. It's not because you don't exercise. It's not because you have a bad gene. It's not because your stomach's too big. It's not because of anything other than your medical doctor is an idiot, and they have no idea what's going on. The only thing that makes people gain weight is we eat too many calories. And it's the only thing. I mean, there was nobody in the death camps of World War II that was overweight. Nobody. It doesn't matter what their health condition was. It doesn't matter their age, their sex, their pre-existing health condition, or whatever. If you don't eat, you lose weight, period. So if you gain weight, it's because of too many calories and consistent consumption of food that causes inflammation. So what makes people eat too many calories? Their bodies are nutritionally starved. Your body has wisdom. The MDs don't understand this, but your body does have wisdom. Your body knows that it's running low on calcium. It knows it's running low on magnesium and zinc and vitamin A and vitamin B and vitamin C. And when your body recognizes that its nutritional tank is running on empty, it makes you eat in the desperate attempt to fill the nutritional tank up. But the food that you're eating doesn't have the nutrients that your body needs. So your body drives you to eat a lot of food, and you do eat a lot of food, but because there's no nutrition in the food, 4 hours later, you're hungry again. And so we eat too many calories every day, not because we're lazy, not because we have the fat gene, but because our bodies are nutritionally starved, and nobody knows it except us. Now, interestingly enough, nutritional deficiencies are also related to blood sugar issues. So you have nutrient deficiencies. You have chronic undiagnosed nutrient deficiencies. You've had them your whole life, and they are, in my opinion, at the root cause of everything that's bothering you. Now, ligaments and tendons, right, have a breaking point. I mean, even Superman had a breaking point, right? So you can apply a certain amount of stress to a ligament, tendon, bone, or joint. The bone's going to break, the ligament's going to tear, the tendon's going to rip, no matter how strong or healthy it is. So sometimes ligament and tendon damage is just life, right? It was too much stress to the ligament, tendon, and it ripped or tore. You're in an automobile accident or whatever. But other times, the ligaments and tendons tear not because the stress was too much, but because they were weak to begin with. And, a little bit of stress made them tear or rip, whereas if they were healthy, that would not have happened. But if it's a complete tear, there's nothing that's going to fix that besides surgery. If it's a complete tear. If it's a partial tear, you can fix that with medical nutrition. If it's a complete tear, then the only thing that's going to fix that is surgery. However, the surgery is not going to address whether or not the ligament or tendon was weak in the first place. So it would be prudent for you for 5 or 6 months to give your body nutritional support for the ligaments and tendons, in addition to comprehensive nutritional support, for your weight and your blood sugar, because, your ligaments and tendons probably are weak. And that's probably why they popped. So at your body weight,
I fell down the stairs.
how many stairs?
10.
Yeah, 10. So that's, it was probably that. So, all right. So here's what I'm going to recommend you do for 90 days. And then you want to look to see what gets better. So your weight and your blood sugar, your energy, your mood, your sleep, your appetite, your sex drive, everything right across the board, because it's a comprehensive, holistic intervention. So the recommendation for you would be 2 healthy body start pack 2.0, 2 healthy body start packs 2.0 in the liquid form. That's a long name, I know. It's called the Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 in the liquid form. You need 2 of those. You need 3 bottles of Ultimate Sweeties, 3 bottles of Sweeties, and 4 bottles of Selenium. 4 Selenium, 3 Sweeties, and 2 Healthy Start.
Despite what?
Yeah, man. That's how we do it. Here's what I want you to do. Go to drglidden.com. drglidden.com. Become an insider. Click on the Be an Insider tab. Check out the details of my online subscription service. As an insider, you'll have access to over 100 hours of archived health webinars that will explain to you from the naturopathic point of view, from the holistic point of view, why these diseases develop and how the MDs think they develop and how we think they develop and how the MDs manage it and what we recommend to treat it. What we recommend to do to support and promote your body's ability to optimize its structure and function. because knowledge is ultimately power, and in this case, life-saving information. Rosie had one more question, I think. Hey, Rosie, yeah, I think you had one more thing you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, my grandson, he have autism. They said he have autism. He hasn't spoken one word, and he's going on to be 5 soon.
Yeah. So we believe autism is a birth defect caused by bad nutrition in the blood of the pregnant mother. And in that regard, it's the obstetrician's fault, because it's the obstetrician's job to make the mother healthy during pregnancy. But that's impossible to do unless you have a grounding in clinical nutrition, which the obstetrician does not. And because the obstetrician doesn't know anything about new-fashioned, science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition, the obstetrician's advice will be old-fashioned, outdated, and ineffective, and that's why there's so much autism. We also believe it's related to chronic wheat consumption by the younger generation. The younger generation eats wheat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and wheat is a big bad voodoo daddy. Wheat consumption, gluten consumption specifically, hampers the body's ability to absorb nutrients. The food that we eat doesn't have enough nutrients in it anyway. So the more whole grains somebody eats, the less nutrified their body becomes, and then they get pregnant. The child is growing up inside an undernutrified environment and is born with some type of a birth defect, or on the autism spectrum, which we believe is a birth defect caused by bad nutrition in the blood of the pregnant mother. It's not the mother's fault, because it's not the mother's job to know this. It's the doctor's job to know this. So, you know, it's called the autism spectrum for a reason, and sometimes children that are autistic, when we clean their diet up and give their body the proper nutrition, that there's remarkable improvement. Sometimes there's a little bit of improvement, and sometimes there is a medium amount of improvement. You never know. The child's body needs nutrients anyway, so this is kind of like never fail fudge. So the recommendation is for both the mother and the child, right? Everybody in this family needs to stop eating the 10 bad foods. Everybody in the family needs to stop eating the 10 bad foods. That list is free on my website, drglidden.com. They all need to stop eating the 10 bad foods. The child needs to eat a diet that's high in cholesterol. And the best way to do that is with eggs. Chicken eggs, quail eggs, duck eggs, I don't care. Eggs, butter, not margarine. Eggs, butter, salt. Food that's high in cholesterol would be beneficial to this child, because his brain is made from cholesterol and his body needs more. Now, once we've got the food stuff dialed in, the child also needs nutrition. And if he were my child, what I would give him is 1 healthy brain and heart pack, and 1 selenium, 1 healthy brain and heart pack, and 1 selenium, and 1 bottle of Cherry Mints, 1 healthy brain and heart pack, 1 selenium, and 1 bottle of Cherry Mints per 100 pounds of body weight per month. Eliminate the 10 bad foods, eat a diet that's high in cholesterol, and pray for success. Never hurts to, get a little bit of divine assistance in every walk of your life. And like the fella said, if you don't ask, it ain't going to happen. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health, thanking you again for spending 2 hours of your day with me. I hope you learned something. I do every time. From you, the callers, remember, this is a grassroots coalition of the informed. We need to hold each other up and lift our families, friends, church members, and communities into the undiscovered country of medical nutrition. Live long and prosper.